Hello everyone, it is Susan here and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to continue on our 3.5-inch squares, and I haven't touched a thing. My work area looks exactly like it did when I finished the last video. But I have decided that out of these 4 blocks, I'm going to work on the black and white today. So I'm going to move the rest of these just to the side over here. And let's work on this. So I think I might have enough stuff here already to work on this block. I'm thinking, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why this little piece is here. I don't think I'm going to keep it over here because, well, it has a little bit of like a teal on it. If this is black and white, I'm going to try to keep it black and white. Let me make sure I'm in screen okay. And yeah, I think that looks good. All right, so last week I decided that I was going to use this piece of whatever it used to be, tablecloth, runner, doily, whatever, and I'm going to use that as the base on my block. And I really love it because it gives so much dimensional texture, I guess I could say. And I'm really liking that. So I think I'm going to have to be a little careful on what I add to it. I mean, look at that alone. That kind of looks nice just the way it is, right? But we need to do more than that. Now, I do realize, that the background of this fabric right here, which is actually a canvas, is not white. And, that's fine. I'm not going to get that picky. And I do already have some of this eyelash trim on this cluster. So I don't know that I need more of it, because if I put that on there, I'm going to be covering up this doily. But what can I add to this that, I don't know, would bring more interest to it without covering too much of the background? If I put that up just a little bit on the block, and if I had this here, like with this would be a lot, right? Is that a lot? That's a very frilly, foo-foo-y kind of, yeah, I don't think I like that at all. So I'm going to not use that piece. How about, I'm going to put this back down the way it was, like that. I like that it's sticking over the edges. I like that. But what else can I add to it? I don't know. I don't know. How about black? Let's see. I don't know if that's long enough to see. Yeah, I guess it is. You can see it on both sides. I don't know. I guess the difference with this is that the cluster already has layers to it. It already has a button to it. So there's not a whole heck of a lot that I feel like I need to add to this. I mean, can it be this simple? That feels too simple, right? So maybe if I do go back to this, and if I put this down first. And even though I am covering up some of that doily, you know, I think I do like that. Let me try with this again. I mean, this black piece of lace, I could actually cut it in two, but I kind of like that. Well, you know what? Let's do our usual thing, and let me move all this stuff really out of the way here. And let's see what it looks like with the rest of them. Is it, see, it's not, I want to say it looks too plain, but it doesn't look too plain because, like I said, that cluster has a lot going on. Wow, we're getting far. Look at this. Oh my gosh. We are doing so good. You know what? I really like it. Let me make sure that you can see this. Okay. I'm going to come down just a little bit. All right. So I think what I'm going to do, I like it. It was easy, and it's easy because of the cluster. And honestly, that is one of the reasons to even make a cluster, because it gives you something pretty substantial to use on whatever it is that you're sewing. So even if it's a paper cluster, you know, you can add them to like greeting cards. You can, well, add them to anything that you're working on, a journal or whatever. So now I have to decide, am I going to sew this all down at once by leaving it all together and sewing through all of the layers together? Or should I take the cluster off and sew down the doily and that eyelash trim first and then this cluster? No, you know what? I think I'm going to do the whole thing at once. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to pull this big doily up just a little bit there. And you can see the block, you know, is underneath here. You can actually see it, and that's fine. I think what I'll do, let me put a couple pins in here. And let's see. You know, I don't want things moving around too much. I do like that there's a little bit of lace coming out the ends, and there's like a little bit of a lace in the middle there. And okay, so let's just go ahead and sew it. And all right, so what I have to make sure I do as I'm sewing this is that I grab, you know, pretty much everything. So I want to make sure that I sew down this eyelash trim as well as the cluster and that black lace. And of course, I'll be sewing that doily down. I think I'm just gonna start, like well, and like I've done on the rest of the blocks, I'm not interested in sewing things down to where, I don't know. So like with this, you know, I like that it's very loose and poofy. And yeah, so I'm kind of keeping that feel for it. So I'm not super concerned with everything being flat, if that makes sense, as I sew down. Yeah, so I'm just going to go around and make sure that things are sewn down. And so while I'm doing that, let's chat about a movie I watched the other day. And it is a movie, like, if it was so good. If you like movies that are, I want to say, really emotional, like, so it's the name of the movie. It's, I watched it on Hulu. And the name of the movie is I Still Believe. Let me pull it up so you can see. And it's the story about Jeremy Camp and his wife. And I mean, I knew the story, and a lot of you probably know it as well. But, and I went into like watching this movie thinking, oh, all right, you know, I know the story. It'll be nice to see it, you know. But wow, they did such an amazing job that I'm going to tell you right now. This is it right here. This is it. I still believe. It's from the makers of, did you ever watch I Can Only Imagine about Mercy Me? Had built Millard. Yeah, so it's the same makers is what it says here. That's why I'm using that word, from the makers of I Can Only Imagine. But this is about Jeremy Camp. And you don't need a tissue. You need a box of tissues. So there you go. You need a box of tissues, and it was amazing, even if you already know the story. And of course, I'm not. Wait, where's my thread? Oh, my thread is up top. Even if you know the story, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you have Hulu, and I don't know, I assume you could get the movie elsewhere. I don't know, but yeah, it was really, really, really good. I was pretty shocked that it affected me as much as it did, but it definitely did, and I figured I would pass that information along. I mean, it can be hard sometimes to find a good movie. And yeah, that one I can highly, highly recommend. And done very, very, very well. And yeah, yep. So I don't want to say more than that because I want you guys to watch it. Yep. All right, so this is going pretty quick, I must say. Super easy, just sewing everything down together, making sure that I'm getting all of the pieces. In some areas I can see the thread that I'm using to sew, and in other areas I can't, and both ways is fine. And then I think the other thing that I wanted to mention, I usually don't like anything flavored. Even if it's coffee or tea, either way, I kind of like just plain old stuff, right? Nothing special. But I do like to drink herb teas. And when I say that, I'm really talking about, you know, like a lemon balm or like chamomile, like that kind of thing. And I do like those teas. And normally I would just drink black Lipton tea, you know, the regular old tea bags. And but I do sometimes like the herbal teas, and which I usually put nothing in. And so today, this is done. We just did a block. It's sewn down really well. It's a mess in the back, but it works. I guess you could say it's a mess in the, in the front too, but I like that mess. Yep. All right, I'm gonna pull over this and let's see if we can find some better green to use with this. But anyway, so as most of you know, I have a garden and I have several different kinds of basil. And so today well, I knew I've been wanting to pick some lemon basil leaves and make some tea, hot tea with them. And so today I did that, and I have not done it with lemon basil before. And I can tell you this, unless it's just me and my basil, it smells lemony, but it did not taste lemony to me. So I don't know. You guys tell me if you've ever had lemon basil tea. Did it taste like lemon without anything else being put in it? I mean, this was just flat, water and the basil leaves, and but it was good. It was very good. And what I did was, let me pull over some fabrics here. I want to kind of get fabrics that I can use with that. So what I did was I picked I think that's the exact same fabric. I think I'm just going to leave that out. I want to try to stay away from pink. On this one, I want to go more towards the yellows because I needed another yellow. And well, I guess I want to go more towards the yellows. I can pull in a little bit of green as well, which is fine. But like even this little strip would be good. Even though it's really the same dye that I did this with, but this is on a different kind of fabric. Actually, I like that a lot. But anyways, so what I did this morning, I went and I harvested, I don't know, I'm just going to say a dozen of the lemon basil leaves. And I came in and I washed it like I usually do, anything from the garden. I spend a good amount of time cleaning. And that's an interesting color. That's a possible. Well, see, I can't go bright, can I? Because, in fact, I should think about pulling in some black maybe. So I can't use this. As much as I like this, it's too bright. And that might be too bright too. But anyways, okay. So after I cleaned my basil leaves, I have it's a glass tea kettle that when you put on the stove, it has the top thing on it that will whistle. And it's just it's nothing special, except it's really worked perfectly for, I like that dark green, for what I was doing. Look at all this little stuff I'm finding. This is like so much fun. And anyway, so I boiled the water, and then I left the hot water right in that tea kettle pot, just a round glass. And someone on a YouTube channel, I had asked them, how do they do it? And they told me. So what they do is in hot water, they put the fresh, not dried, fresh basil leaves for 15 to 20 minutes. So I put the basil leaves in, and I just set the timer on my stove for 20 minutes, and I came back, and wow, it was amazing to me how much it steeped. I was like really, it changed the color totally of the water. I was really quite surprised, honestly. And so then what I did was I strained out the basil leaves. I actually poured it into, I have this big, I don't know if it's a 4-cup glass, I think it's a Pampered Chef measuring cup. And so I poured it into there, the hot tea, through a strainer, and I, let me get this way. That's nice too. And I poured myself a cup of the tea, right? Because there was a lot. Like there's probably, I don't know, 4 cups of tea in this pot, right? So, and I drank that, and I enjoyed it. It didn't taste lemony like I thought it would, but yep, it tasted good. And I did totally enjoy it. And then once it cooled down, ooh, look at that. Okay. I keep getting distracted. Look at this. And once that cooled down in the pot, or the measuring cup that I actually, it's beautiful. Then like I had to let that cool down, because then I poured it into, once it was cool, you know, the leftover tea. So it's cooled down at this point, and I have this really plain but pretty glass pitcher, and it's tall and a little bit thin but tall. It's pretty. And so, and you can't put hot into that pitcher. That's why I had to let it cool off. And yeah, so probably 3 cups went in that tall pitcher into my fridge. So I'll treat that more like iced tea, because I'll drink it cold. It's got pink on it. No, too bright. And yeah, and then, so anyways, and then I had my hot tea, my cup of hot tea. Isn't that pretty? It's very fall. Well, I can't use it because it's not the right thing. All right, so I think I have plenty for this block. I think I have too much. This looks actually pretty with this, doesn't it? That like goes almost like perfectly together. Okay. Let's see what I have here. So anyway, so I didn't put like any lemon in it or honey, because I do like honey in my Lipton black tea. But yeah, so it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Do any of you do that? And if you do you enjoy it? So like I also have just, you know, the Genovese basil. I have large Italian leaf basil. I have the lemon basil, and I have Tulsi basil. I'm also trying to grow, I just planted some purple opal basil. It's not growing yet. But so I wanted to try that. And yeah, so I want to like one of the reasons I want all of these basils is to make teas from them and enjoy it during the hot weather, because yes, it is finally hot out, that's for sure, and probably more humid. Anything, the humidity, you know, brings up the temp by 5-6 degrees. It's like, you know, you get the well, it's you know, 89 degrees, but it feels like 96. You know, it's like, oh great. But yeah, so now that it's hot out, come on, Tare. Oh, there we go. Got it. Now that it's hot out, I'm really, oh, look at how pretty that looks. I just want to make sure, I really do feel like I should add some black to this. I need something darker. I don't know. We'll see as I go through here. Maybe something like this. This is a little darker. Maybe that. Yeah, so anyway, so I am going to enjoy that's pretty. The basil. So let me know if you have basil and if you make hot or cold tea with it and how you do it. And do you add anything to it besides? Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's really pretty. And I like this stuff on a slant. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, all right, I gotta, and my head is going now. So let me cut a piece of this. And I want it to be big. So it's not flat on the block. So let's see. So if I did something like that, so it's sticking over the edges. And if I had these on a slant, and see, can I pull in this little green piece? Let's see if I can do that. Something like that. And put that. I like that. I like that. I feel like I need a bigger pop of color. So what can I do with this? Well, I could sew this. Well, very much, you know, the way I do that, these like faux ruffles, I could do that with this and put that there. And this flower could come down a little so it's not centered in the middle of the block. And I could do a little ruffle here with this. And then I feel like I would need something in the middle here. But let me try something. Let me try a different green. I think I like that better than this because it's different. And I have this, which is just a little cut piece of some lace. And I would trim these down, not the bottom lace, but the fabric. I would trim. Let's look for a button. So yeah, let me know your experiences with fresh basil. Or if you dry your basil first, because I'm not going to be able, I'm going to have a lot of basil. I don't even know how many basil plants I have. I've probably got a dozen basil plants. What am I going to do with all this basil? Now I will dry it. I will absolutely. The basil I dried last year, I used, even like in my soups, it's like real brittle, so I would just break it in it, and oh, it was very good. Or even in like a spaghetti sauce, and very good. So I'll definitely be drying some for sure. But I suppose I could use dried basil for a tea as well. I'd have to put it in like I do my other dried herbs, you know, put it in something so it doesn't get all in and stay in my tea. But yeah, ooh, look at this. I don't want to take it off of this background. Is that crazy? But I do like that on there. But that's very green. That's bringing maybe too much green into into this. So let's see. It doesn't have to be green. I don't want pink. It could be yellow, but I don't really have big yellow. I'm sure, well, I have 2 bins of buttons that I could probably go through as well. Oh, that I like. I like that. Well, let me see. So let's go back to this little box that we got a glance of last week. And let me move this down a little bit. And let's see if there's a flower, like maybe this, that I could also put on this other flower and then put the button on. Oh, I like that. So let me hold this. So I like that. Can you guys see it? So there's a lot of layering going on with this. A lot. I might even be able to put the yellow one there. I kind of like that white one. I love that gold around it. It's quite beautiful. Isn't that a pretty flower? I mean, a pretty button. So I'm liking this. Like I said, I would definitely cut down this fabric. And this would be bunched, like, it would be bunched. And I would have, I'm just going to kind of lay this here. Somewhere on here I will have this, which this right here hopes to tone it down, I think. So let's see. So if I just cut this, I don't need it that big. If I just cut that, and that would be all smushed to make a ruffle. Is that good? I don't know. Let's see. The best way for me to tell is to just put everything down. That's the best way, because it's going to show me right away if something is too bright. I just want to make sure I have that. I think I can zoom out just a little bit. What do you think? Is this going to be too bright? Could I even put this here in a way where I can see it around the flower? That might be a good idea. But, you know, sew it down, obviously. Huh. I kind of like that. Where if I make this more prominent, it kind of pushes back some of the brightness of the fabrics. Yeah, I like it. It's definitely, I don't know if I should keep this. Let's remove that. I think I like that better now. Simply because there's not a whole ton of green in the others. I mean, there's just this green right here, which is like a mint green. But I like having more green. I like that that then brings more yellow, which is good. All right, we're going to go with that. Now, let me see what I'm at. I'm at 35 minutes, so we're not going to sew this one today. We'll sew it next Monday. And we're going to go ahead. I'll end the video here, but we're doing really, really, really well. And I'm really putting a lot of thought into what I'm going to do with this, with these once I'm done. And just now, even just thinking with all of you, what if I just sewed them back to back? And then somehow, again, I'm just thinking with all of you guys. I'm going to pull a little piece of fabric here. Let's see. And then let's just say in between each, it wouldn't be this big, but in between each, I would have a piece of fabric that extends on the one side. And then this is what I will use to sew them all together. So each pair of blocks would be sewn together with something like this in the middle, but extended off to, say, the left side. And then once they're all sewn together, then I can just sew. That's what I'm going to do. I did another journal similar to this a while back. Maybe I'll pull that out and show you next time. But you know what? That's what I'm leaning towards. So then I'll have a book where they're sewn together here. And as I turn the pages, I'm actually just looking at each and every block. Ooh, we conquer so much together. When I talk with you guys, you guys, very Jersey, I know. But yeah, I like it. I like that idea a lot. Yep. All right, so that's it for today, and I will see you next Monday, and I pray that you all have a wonderfully blessed week, and I will see you then. Alrighty, bye-bye.